The first question we asked our audience was what social media site the audience used most. The audience came back with a reply of Twitter, so it was better to market the trailer on Twitter as we would attract a larger audience. The second question we asked our audience was what font they would prefer to see in the horror trailer, from options A, B and C. Once receiving the results, option C came back most popular with 50%, so using this font on our ancillary products was an option. Third question we asked our audience was what camera angles do you think would create the most tension? We gave the audience 8 options to choose from. Once on receiving the results, XTU came back the most popular with 80%, so using an extreme close-up of the villain would create most tension. The fourth question we asked our audience was which costume do you find the scariest? We gave them the option from a clown, the villain from Scream and the villain from Insidious. When the results came back, Insidious won with 70%, so using the idea of a really creepy man dressed up in all black with face paint and a really scary mask would be most appropriate. The fifth question we asked our audience was how would you like the identity of the villain to be hidden? We gave them 3 options from mask, camera shot or hoodie. When the results came back, the audience chose mask with 60% would be the most effective way to hide the identity.
For question 6, the question was what music do you find creates the most tension, fast and jumpy or slow and eerie? Slow and eerie won with 85%, so we would use slow and eerie for our trailer. Question 7 was what editing skills do you think suit the genre the most? Quick cuts, jump cuts or flashbacks? Quick cuts won, so we would use a lot of quick cuts in our trailer. Number 8 was what props do you think inflict the most fear? Gun, axe, knife, chainsaw. Surprisingly, knife won the percentage with 50%, and so a knife would be prominent in our trailer. Question 9 was what locations do you prefer to see? Woods, abandoned house, prison, mental hospital. Mental hospital won, which we would advise to be used in our trailer. Number 10 was what advertising mechanism is effective to you, poster, trailer or advert? And we had poster with 50%, so posters would be most prominent in advertising our trailer.
Whilst constructing my ancillary products, I had to look at many genre-related magazines and posters in order to figure out the conventions of the products and what elements I needed to include in my ancillary products. My horror film poster is subtly based off the Twilight poster. The element of the film having a love triangle sparked this idea. However, I haven't used all of the characters on the poster like they have. I have used the girl as the main image as she centres the poster and added red demon-like eyes to represent the evil that surrounds her and to let the audience know what kind of story they should expect. I also centred her to show that she is one of the main protagonists of the storyline. The teeth on the poster represent the cannibal aspect of the film. I also constructed a 10-question questionnaire for my ancillary products. Audience feedback was very important during the planning stage as I was able to ask my target audience what features and conventions they'd like to see on the horror film posters and what appealed to them the most. Upon receiving the results, I was then able to construct my ancillary products based around the feedback I had received. Once my ancillary products were constructed, I then uploaded them to the blog, where my peers were able to comment and give me feedback. These were some of the comments that I received. After reading them, I was able to go back and make improvements to my ancillary products in order to make them more realistic and more appealing to my target audience.
To effectively create a horror magazine front cover and a horror magazine poster, I had to first recreate a questionnaire. The questionnaire would have allowed me to narrow down what my target audience want to see in my horror magazine front cover and horror poster. For example, I asked questions about the color scheme that was much more effective for my horror poster, and most of my target audience decided that black and red were the most effective to place in the horror poster. So I then decided that the base of my horror poster would be black, and the front of my title would involve mixtures of red, white and black. The red was a connotation of blood, which is a very popular convention used in the horror genre. I also asked questions about the type of images they would like to see in my poster. I asked what type of camera shots and camera angles would be taken and most of my target audience wanted the main image in my poster to be the victim in a close-up range looking terrified for their life. However, this is usually what other horror films try to do to attract the audience. So I decided to challenge that and place the villain onto the poster, clearly visible to the audience, pushing the narrative to the audience. Furthermore, the questionnaire helped me to decide on the title for my horror poster, due to the fact that most of the target audience wanted the color red to be present. So I decided to put the name Bloodlust as one of the choices, not telling the audience that this was actually the actual name of the film trailer. To my surprise, most of the target audience decided that Bloodlust was the best option. I then done more research on horror posters and horror magazines and decided what the layout for my magazine would look like. I made a sketch of both products, then started to decide on what the costume for my characters on the product to be like. The actual image that was taken on the horror poster was not that scary enough. So with a few editing on Photoshop, it looked much more like a horror poster main image. For my magazine front cover, I asked the various questions such as the color scheme, masthead title, what should the magazine include, and how many images included, and what would the audience actually want to read up on if this was actually a horror magazine.
Whilst constructing my ancillary products, I had to look at many genre-related magazines and posters in order to figure out what conventions of the product and what elements I needed to include in my ancillary product. My horror poster was subtly based off 30 Days of Night. The element of the film that I used was the vampire. However, I haven't used all characters on the poster that they used. However, I used the close-up in the main image, which was used like in the poster. The main image of the poster, you see the teeth glowing, and that is it. So I used that kind of layout for my poster. The teeth glowing on the poster symbolised the cannibal aspect of the film, and I wanted to add that to our film. For my poster, I have glowing red eyes on the front cover and nothing else. This is for the connotations that are associated with red eyes, obviously danger, passion, lust. And our film being called Bloodlust, I thought it linked very nicely. I had nothing else on my poster to make it more mysterious and ambiguous, making the audience want to know what's going on and go to see the film and the trailer. To help me improve my ancillary products, I also constructed a 10-question questionnaire for my ancillary products. The audience feedback was very important in this stage because it would help me gain more marks. I was able to ask what my target audience wanted on the poster or the magazine most, and I liked to see the results. On receiving the results, I was able to add improvements to my magazine and my poster. Some of the comments were very helpful and helped me up my grade. One of the improvements in particular for my magazine was to make sure that my text was clear